everyone. This is the Dollhouse diary for a 2-week period. Last week I did some extra babysitting and I just did not have a chance to record a video. So today is my report on the last 2 weeks of Dollhouse work. I feel like my Dollhouse projects are, it's like trying to draw a mural in the margins of a term paper, and the term paper is unfortunately the priority, and I have to write that and it takes up most of the space, and then there's this little bit of room around the outside edges when I can try to draw this fantastic mural, which is my dollhouse. Probably a strange metaphor, but you know, it is what it is. I have a full and busy life and I should be grateful for that. I just wish there was a little more dollhouse time, but don't we all wish we had a little more time for the things that we most love to do someday? I just hope that I get to retire before all my faculties give out and my hands and eyes give out and I can keep doing this project. But okay, so what do I have to report? I always babble a bit about things that have nothing to do with the dollhouse, and one thing that I'm very excited about is that I gave myself a good 2-week experiment of eating no dairy other than butter. This is something I had tried before, but only for 3 or 4 days, and I think, oh, I'm pretty sure dairy's bothering me, and I would do this for 3 or 4 days and I'd say, well, I don't know, I don't think it's really making a difference, and I would go back to eating what I was eating. But probably in my internet exploration, I came across the idea that I really needed to experiment with a non-dairy diet for at least 2 weeks to see if it actually was going to make a difference or not. And boy, am I glad I did that. About a week in, it was almost like flipping on a light switch. It didn't solve all the problems, but it definitely eliminated a couple of problems. And the weirdest and most unexpected thing was that my mood changed suddenly. It took about a week. It was about a week into the experiment when all of a sudden I was kind of like, my abdomen doesn't hurt so much. It's not so swollen, and I don't feel so down today. I actually feel a little bit good. So that was really exciting. The hardest part for me was giving up Trader Joe's coffee ice cream. But I did find a very nice coffee sorbetto that I'm enjoying, and that is my new drug of choice. And as far as the rest of it, yeah, once in a while I say, oh, it would be nice to have cheese on this, or you know, I do miss Greek yogurt. I used to love Greek yogurt once in a while, and I do kind of miss that. But I have to say that the difference is so drastic that I think about that and then it's like, nope, I'm not even tempted. It's not worth it. It is worth sacrificing those foods to feel this much improvement. So here are all the things I have to report. I finished making the little knitting basket. Those little bits and pieces in there are actually knitted and crocheted. So I'm really excited about how this came out. And another thing I did in the shopkeeper's room was I just repaired this little chair. I had thought about stripping it down. I don't love the finish on it particularly, but it's a little bit, got a little bit too much varnish on it, I think, but it actually looks fine when I put it in the room. But it was coming apart a little bit, so I just glued this back together. This is the desk chair, and I want to show you the desk. So this is the first time I've been able to actually dress a piece, as they say, and put little things on it. So I made a magazine. I just did this in Photoshop Elements, which is sort of the light version of Photoshop. I took images offline of magazines. I think it was the Ladies' Home Journal that I was looking at. And I just took images from 1928, 1929, 1927, like that range, and just shrunk them down in Photoshop and then put them into this magazine. We have some sheets of paper in here. Most of this stuff is stuck on with that tacky wax. I thought maybe, my daughter got me these little seashells. She lives about 20 minutes from the lake in Chicago, and we'll occasionally walk on the beach, and she picked up all these tiny, tiny little shells for me and brought them back. So I said, you know, definitely want to use those in the dollhouse. So a couple of shells that the housekeeper picked up on an outing at the beach one day. We have a postcard, a letter, and just a little piece of rolled up paper in there. And then, I don't know if you can see, there's a couple of pencils on the desk, like one up there and one right by my finger here. I do want to put one more thing on the desk over here. I think I'm going to put maybe a couple of books or something. I need to get some books. The only ones I have are actually children's books. So I'll either make or get some other books to put up here. But I really love the way this looks. This, you know, sort of slightly cluttered. Oh, the little drawer fell out. Slightly cluttered appearance. Okay. So yeah, so and here are some photos of this actually in the housekeeper's room, in situ, as they say. And is that an American term? I think I've only ever heard British people say that. So yeah, so that was really fun, and I have to say that I think that dressing pieces of furniture and dressing rooms with little bits of stuff is going to end up being my favorite part of dollhouse building, dollhouse making. The peacock tapestry is kind of on hold at the moment. I think I worked on it for half an hour last week, so there's really nothing to show you on there. And I have a feeling that's going to kind of be neglected now until the holidays are over. Things just kind of get busier and busier from here on out. But I did get another rug done for the shop. Now this is not blocked, so it's a little lumpy still. This thread does, you know, these tend to warp and stretch a little bit, especially once I'm lifting them off the tape that's holding them down. So I have to go down and to my ironing board and steam and press it into shape and get it nice and flat. I'll actually be putting a little piece of stabilizer on the back to prevent it from stretching in the future. But I do like the way this one came out. But this was over 17 hours of work to make this, so I don't know. I hope the right person comes along to appreciate it and buy it at some point. I picked up a baby doll. So this is one of those, I think it's Zuru, Z-U-R-U, I think is the brand. I picked this one up used on Etsy. He or she, I don't know, didn't have any clothes on. It was just a doll. And I think these are the little babies that come in those plastic balls where you don't really know what, you collect them and you don't know what's inside and you just try to collect all the pieces. So I do think this baby is a little bit big for the dollhouse. It measures about 2.5 inches, and I did look up online sort of like the size of real life babies, and this would be okay for, you know, 6 to 8 month old baby might be this size. The problem is I don't really think this looks like a 6 or 8 month old baby. I think it looks newer, but it's a really cute face, and I have not seen any babies that I like so far, so I'm going to use it for now. It's a little big for the cradle that I have in the dollhouse, so I'll have to get a crib, but I will keep the cradle because the baby would have started out in a cradle, probably. The outfit came from another Etsy shop, and I absolutely love this little outfit. I have to say it was not easy to put on. Not because there's anything wrong with the outfit, but because this baby's so tiny. But I will put up the name of the shop where I got this adorable little outfit. So cute. But I mean, look at that face. It's such a sweet little face. And these are just little things that people collect out of plastic balls, apparently. So I'm happy enough with that for now. Let's see, what else do we have to report? I think that's it. But it actually felt pretty good to me. It felt like a pretty good collection of achievements to get the basket, the knitting basket done, the desk mostly decorated, except for the one more item I want, and then to find a baby that will, that I'm happy enough with for now. So I do have one other project that I really want to work on for the housekeeper's room, which is I want to do a little miniature cross-stitch sampler picture type thing to hang on the wall. And I do need to hook up the last of the lighting in there. I have one more lamp. I may add one more light over by the bureau. So I need to do some wiring in there, and I always dread doing wiring. I know how to do it, but I just, I dread it. I'm so afraid of screwing it up and making a mess of it. And the other thing I did was I found a chair online because I did want to have a nice chair for the housekeeper to sit in when she's reading a book or doing her knitting or whatever. And I found a kit online for a very appropriate chair for the era that I've ordered. It is coming from somewhere overseas. I don't remember offhand, but I'll probably be doing a video about putting that chair together at some point. So I think that's everything I have to report. I hope you're having lots of nice dollhouse therapy time, and I will talk to you hopefully next week. Take care. Bye.